in another Journey interview, this time with Gary Lyles, and he is part of the Knights of Columbus. And I'm excited to have Gary here. Thank you for coming to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
We are talking about our faith journey, and we've got early, middle, and later for most of us. So I guess I'm sort of curious, how did you get to St. Joseph's? Can you tell us how you found out about it, and then we'll sort of go back and talk about some other things.
My wife and I moved here in 2017 to Carroll County, from Baltimore County. And we were heavy in our previous church, St. Gabriel in Woodlawn. And we went to St. John and we came here to St. Joseph. And she gave me a choice. You can go to St. John or we can go to St. Joseph. And of course I picked St. Joseph. St. John was just too big for me. And St. Joseph was very welcoming. And I appreciate that, so that's why I chose St. Joseph.
All righty. So you were given a choice, and you chose to be here. So prior to being here, did you grow up in a Catholic church, and what were your earliest church experiences?
Oh, well, I was raised Baptist. My grandmother would come and take us, my brothers and sisters, to church. And as we got older, or she got older, she wanted to go to church, and I picked her up and took her to church, and we went from there until she got too sick that she couldn't go. So, and then of course, Lucy was Catholic, my wife Lucy, and she went to church. I didn't really go to church with her because I had my kids go to church with her. So, and they always asked me, I said, you know what, I don't need to go to church to have God because God is here.
I've heard that
And,
before.
So, when my last kid went to college, and I said, I can't let her go to church by herself, so I started going to church again. That's when I joined St. Gabriel. Well, actually, I was harassed into joining St. Gabriel. So, first day I went to St. Gabriel, Lucy went in ahead of me, and when I walked in the door, Sister Sonia, you come here. So I went over to her, and she was like, I hear you wanted to join the Catholic Church, and I said, yeah. She said, okay, fine, so I got you. And I went to RCIA, and it took a minute for me to get with it because I wasn't really with the program. I just figured, I go through the motions and, get baptized and all that stuff. But then I got roped in, and I had a I don't know, inspiration, I guess. And just opened up after that. And I opened myself up to the church, and it was just like, psh.
Okay, so now you're getting me real excited here because I want to hear about the inspiration. I'm assuming that you're saying it was sort of an encounter with God.
Yes.
Okay, can we hear more about that?
Well, in '97, my mother had '96 she had a stroke, and she stayed in my house for a year after that because she was incapacitated. So she got a bed sore, so I had to take her to a nursing home. And when I got to the nursing home, I knew that she wasn't coming out. I knew that was her last stop. So one day the nurse at that nursing home called and said, if you want to see your mother before she passed, you need to get up here. So I said, okay. So me and my sister were there, got there before my other siblings. And my mother was laying in the bed, and my sister was talking to my mother. So I sat down in the chair, and I just looked at my mother, and I guess I dozed off. And my mother sat up in the bed and told me, Gary, don't worry about it, because I'll be all right, don't worry about it. And that's when I was, okay, fine, all right, I'm good, all right. And after that, I was really okay, almost, with her passing. And that's when God just told me, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, fine. So I didn't worry about that.
I'm hearing that maybe it was another one of these that God was saying,
Yeah, I guess, kind of,
come on
sort of.
back.
Yeah, I reckon. I guess you got me there, because I mean, it was a minute for me. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, that minute has turned into a lot more, hasn't
Oh
it?
yeah, yes it
Yeah.
has. Yes it has.
Well, I appreciate you telling that story. That's very powerful. How has it sort of evolved since then? I understand that you were given a choice of what church later on, but
Well,
how did that change your life after that?
Well, after that, I started going to church with Lucy, as I said, and we just got in the church. I went to RCIA, and then I taught RCIA, and well, actually, the sister told me maybe teach RCIA. She said, "You teaching RCIA?" I'm like, "Okay, fine." And it was a good experience. I enjoyed it, and then I was a lecturer. Eucharistic minister. I was a chairperson for liturgy committee. I mean, we just dived in church, and I mean, most of the time, our time was spent at church. So, I mean, and then, when we decided to move to Carroll County, that's when we came here and said, okay, we're going to take a break. But first time I came here, okay, I missed this part. The first time I came here, they were having a fundraiser for the radio station. And it was just amazing to me about how all the people were just there for that one purpose.
That really impressed you.
Oh, yes. And it was some Knights of Columbus there. And my first thing was, who do I see to transfer up here? Because I want to transfer to this council. And they pointed out to the person that you talk to, and right then there, I transferred to Knights of Columbus.
So you've had all these experiences that you have described as your first time this, my first time here, and you're very, I'd say, influenced spiritually in each of those instances. Do you feel that that's a fair statement?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to me, my last council, they didn't do anything. I mean, absolutely nothing. And I said I want to do something, and their answer to me was, okay, fine, who's going to do it? Because we're too old. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But anyway, and then when I came here and saw what's happening here, I was like, well, this is why I joined the Knights.
Mm-hmm. To be active?
To be active and to do, and to just do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, when I joined, they explained to me what their purpose was. And I didn't see that purpose until I came here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw that purpose.
That's wonderful.
And I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So, and I continue to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually when I joined, my first thing was, I noticed how they rotated the members up to the Grand Knight. And I said, I don't want to be Grand Knight. I'll help you out, I'll do what you need to do, but I don't want to be Grand Knight. Today, I'm Grand Knight.
I knew that was coming. Some people, God has to sort of drag kicking and screaming, but...
Yeah, I'm that one. Kicking and screaming. I'm that one.
It seems like after you get there, you're happy about it.
Oh yeah. I enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's eye-opening to me. And I mean, to me, it's God's will. So, And that's what I'm all about, God's will.
So when you say it's eye-opening, God's will, you know, what is so eye-opening? What do you see when those eyes get opened?
I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's a good thing. And, you know, my thing is, God is good all the time. And He's always been good to me. I mean, God has always been in my life. Had He not, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's stories I could tell you, but, you know, I mean, you know.
We have time.
God is good. I'm telling you.
Well, so it sounds to me like your eyes are opened again to God's goodness.
Always,
Yeah.
always, always. I've always had that belief. It never wavered. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Wow, what a strong statement. That is so powerful. So many people would love to have that assurance and that, you know, that deep down confidence.
Oh, that's my grandmother and me.
Yeah, I
That's her.
wondered. I
That's
wondered.
her. Yeah, that's her.
So your grandmother, being a Baptist, really has influenced you your whole life.
Yes, definitely.
Well, we know that, you know, you're Catholic now. What do you see as that progression from Baptist to Catholic? Anything that stands out as how the two fit together for you?
Well, as a Baptist, I wasn't really into church. I mean, I went because my grandmother needed to go, so I took her. And like I said, you know, she played a major part in my life. So whatever she needed, I was there. Same with mother. Whatever she needed, I was there. And it's the Catholic Church is a much better fit, I would say, for me.
Because? Can you go a little more with that?
Because I'm more active. I feel like I want to be more active.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I never really had before.
Mhm.
I never really wanted to really do anything. Just go to church and get out and go home. Now it's get up. You know, you gotta go to church, and I'm here. And I know the rules are no one leaves till the priest leaves. So I'll stay until the priest leaves. I don't walk out the door until the priest walk out the door. And I like to I like to speak to everybody. You know, it's I mean, a lot of people go to church and, you know, they just sit in the pews and, you know, they just sit to themselves or talk to the person next to them or whoever they come to church with. Me, I like to talk to everybody. And, you know, that's when they say, they share a blessing for everybody, to everybody. I mean, I walk around the church. Before the pandemic, I would walk up the aisles. And of course, my wife, why you do that? You can't do that. You better. And I'm like, who made that rule?
Well, I'm going to be looking for you if I ever go to the same mass that you do. I want to get one of those handshakes.
No problem.
Well, you know, I guess I would say that, you know, if I could put words in your mouth here, that your grandmother's faith inspired you to have a faith and to pursue it wherever it took you. And maybe the same with your mother.
Mhm.
That they started out by giving you a look and taste of God's goodness.
Mhm.
And in that, you were inspired to move on. And now look at how you're sharing God's goodness with others.
Well, that's something new.
Something new?
That is definitely something new.
Yeah.
I'm not really an outspoken person. I really don't do these things, speak out like this.
But you're speaking them now, and it's loud and clear.
Well,
You are a servant of God. You're giving a lot. You are making your grandmother and your mother proud.
I hope so. I hope so.
What a wonderful journey. I'm really happy that we got to talk about it. It's wonderful to hear how God has been using you and inspiring you.
Always, God is good.
God is good. So we are wrapping up our journey interview with Gary, and so happy to talk with him today. And we look forward to the next journey.